This is your good news from the zoos, April 2024. In a world first, conservationists have successfully bred a Leadbeater's possum joey of mixed origin genetics at Healesville Sanctuary. A significant win in the race to save the critically endangered lowland population that has dwindled to only 34 possums. There are two distinct genetic groups of this elusive possum, lowland and highland. Threatened Species Life Sciences Manager Dr. Kim Miller says conservation geneticists at Monash University recommended forming mixed pairings to restore genetic diversity.
It's really important to introduce more genetic variation into lowland Leadbeater's possums. They currently only have about half of the genetic diversity of highland Leadbeater's possums, and they show really significant impacts of inbreeding. So inbreeding in that population is resulting in shorter overall lifetime survival of the possums and in overall lifetime fitness. So they produce fewer offspring in their lifetime.
It has taken years of dedication to reach this milestone, and the team is over the moon about the breeding breakthrough.
When we first saw the mixed origin joey, or first had suspicions of it, we were in a little bit of disbelief. So we kept it to ourselves for quite a while, and then once the pouch started getting bigger and bigger and bigger, it was really clear that Cass did have a joey, and we were bursting with pride.
At Werribee Open Range Zoo, 7-year-old African lion Sheru visited the dentist for a root canal after keepers noticed his tooth was cracked during a training session. Senior veterinarian Dr. Natalie Rourke says the procedure was a roaring success.
We had to anaesthetise him down in his dens and bring him up to the veterinary hospital where he was on anaesthetic, where the veterinary dentist came in and did the most beautiful root canal procedure you can imagine. That requires removing the remaining dead nerve and pulp that was in there and cleaning it all out, filing it down and then filling the tooth.
A king of the jungle and now of dental hygiene, Sheru is safely back in his habitat with the rest of the pride, including his 3 lion cubs.
Anyone who's ever had a rotten tooth will know how painful it is before and how much better it feels after the dentist sorted it out. So he is feeling great.
The elephants at Melbourne Zoo are preparing to pack their trunks for a big move later this year, and the team is focused on crate training. The entire herd of 9 will make the 40-kilometre journey to a purpose-built home at Werribee Open Range Zoo in bespoke travel crates, each fitted out for the exact needs of their huge passengers. Lucy Trilsom, Project Officer for Trail of the Elephants, says the mothers and calves will travel together.
And that's a really important aspect of our philosophy with our elephant management, is that we're never undermining the relationship between a mother and a calf. It's a very important one. If the mother's calm, the calf will be calm, and vice versa. So they're able to enter that crate together at the same time, and then eventually the calf enters the front part of the crate where they will be sectioned off from their mother, and that's purely for the safety of the calf. But through the whole journey, mother and calf can have tactile contact with each other, they can see each other, so they'll be communicating and they'll be able to travel together in this space.
Engineers have designed the crates to ensure both the animals and humans are safe during the move. The relocation has been planned for over 5 years.
It's been a long time coming, and we're so excited that we will see these elephants take these steps in the crates on the day that they move.
To a hoppy story outside the zoo walls. 70 juvenile spotted tree frogs returned to the slopes of Mount Beauty as part of the conservation breeding and release program for this critically endangered species. It was the first release since frogs were collected post the Black Summer bushfires. Zoo's Victoria threatened species biologist Dion Gilbert says he's hopeful it will make a real difference.
Feeling absolutely amazing about this release today. Following the devastation of the fires particularly, it's incredible to be able to come here and release frogs back into the wild.
More frogs and tadpoles will return to the wild in the future.
Spotted tree frogs are incredibly important, of course, to the ecosystem, as with any other animal that's found in nature. One of the things, though, that people don't think about is that the frogs obviously live on the land, but the tadpoles are critically important for stream health. So with the removal of tadpoles out of the ecosystem, we often get poorer water quality, and that, of course, affects everything else.
And a fresh reminder to keep our waterways clean with our skilled veterinarians called in to help animals entangled in fishing line. Healesville Sanctuary vets delicately removed a fishing hook from the bill of a platypus. Associate veterinarian Dr. Chloe Steventon says the fish hook went completely through the structure of the top of the bill, known as the shield, and the laceration went through to the animal's left eyelid.
Unfortunately, fishing hook injuries in platypus aren't rare. A lot of debris, fishing line and fishing hooks are associated with a range of different injuries in platypus.
Luckily, the procedure went swimmingly, and after 3 weeks of rehab, the monotremes received a clean bill of health, returning to a creek in Jamison. Meanwhile, Melbourne Zoo's Marine Response Unit provided a second chance for an Australian fur seal at Pope's Eye in Port Phillip Bay. Coordinator Mark Keenan says a large hook was embedded in the seal's lip with a heavy sinker dangling from fishing line.
So the line itself was wrapped around the seal's neck. So the first point of call was making sure that we cut that away. Thankfully, it hadn't been on there so long that it embedded into the animal's skin, but we carefully peeled that away from the animal's neck as to not cut the neck any deeper. And then after that, we were able to pry the hook out of the animal's lip and remove the entire thing, which is really satisfying.
Zoos Victoria and the Victorian Fisheries Authority are working together to untangle the threats to aquatic wildlife by installing seal-the-loop bins to prevent potentially harmful materials entering the water. There are more than 300 brightly coloured bins all around Victoria's coastlines and waterways. That's the good news from the zoos. To stay up to date with everything animal, subscribe to our YouTube channel.